Wildlife investigators bust $1 million flying squirrel trafficking ring. A deputy gives kids guns to fight demons he said were in the home. A woman repeatedly tells the police her name is "My butt just farted." And a man was arrested after throwing a pumpkin at his girlfriend. Halloween! Yay! These are the weird stories for Friday. And they all have one thing in common, as you can expect. They are from the state of Florida. Because on Friday, Weird AF News does only Florida weird news from the week. It's Florida Friday on Weird AF News. I'm your host, Jonesy. I'm glad you're here.
Those bizarre stories you hear about all the time that seem to only happen here in Florida. I know, right?
Can't make this stuff up. It is just one of the many wacky news stories out of Florida.
Why does the Sunshine State consistently produce such strange news?
But what accounts for all this bizarre news? Is it the weather? Is it the people?
Florida is full of the crazy stories.
Wildlife investigators bust $1 million flying squirrel trafficking ring in Florida. Yeah, flying squirrels. Who knew those were part of Florida? A group of flying squirrel smugglers. Flying squirrel smugglers. What do you do? What are you in for? I'm in for flying squirrel smuggling. You don't want to mess with me. Well, anyways, this group of flying squirrel smugglers has been grounded after a 19-month-long investigation that stretched across the country and as far as Asia, the Florida wildlife officials say. Wow, this is quite a sophisticated and long investigation. Almost 2 years into the flying squirrel smuggling. It must be a big problem. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission announced the series of arrests this week, which disrupted what they called, quote, an elaborate organized enterprise to smuggle Florida's flying squirrel to interstate and international buyers. How dare you? It was back in January of 2019 when the Florida Wildlife Commission received a tip about some flying squirrels being illegally trapped in one rural county. This eventually led to the uncovering of an elaborate scheme, quote, to poach and smuggle flying squirrels to unsuspecting buyers. According to the Florida Wildlife Commission, the flying squirrels, which are a protected species in the state of Florida, were trapped in central Florida and eventually resold as captive bred pets and not wildlife. This scheme was so elaborate it involved buyers flying into Florida from Korea, driving the squirrels to Chicago, then flying them back to Asia using some sort of unwitting pet exporter. They don't say who or how. Investigators believe the poachers caught as many as 3,600 flying squirrels throughout Central Florida in 3 years, setting as many as 10,000 traps. Unbelievable. They have estimated that the international retail value of all of this poached wildlife exceeds $1 million. And the article says, if you know someone who's smuggling flying squirrels, do you guys know some flying squirrel smugglers? Well, you can call the wildlife hotline, 888-404-FWCC. That's the Florida alert hotline, apparently. I'd imagine you can use that if you know someone who's, smuggling baby alligators in their yoga pants as well. I don't know if you guys remember that story that I did. Now, I had to do some research on the side because I just was really surprised that there are flying squirrels in Florida. I didn't really know about it. And turns out the flying squirrel is the only nocturnal member of the squirrel family in North America. Flying squirrels can sometimes be seen on bright, moonlit nights as they glide from tree to tree and then land in the pocket of a Korean man who takes them to Asia. I'm kidding. It doesn't say that. Oh, Jonesy, you're so mean. By the way, very misleading. Flying squirrels, they want you to know, are capable only of gliding, not true flight. Flying squirrels are found throughout Florida, except in the Keys. And then I wondered, how much does it cost to buy a flying squirrel, and where can you own them? Well, many states allow flying squirrels to legally be kept as pets, including Alaska, Arkansas, Connecticut, Georgia, Idaho, Iowa, Illinois, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Nebraska, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Mexico, Rhode Island, Tennessee, Texas, Wisconsin, and Washington. Oh boy, that's a lot. A lot of states allow you to keep a flying squirrel as a pet. that being the case, why is this the first time I'm hearing of it? This would be the coolest pet ever. I can't imagine having a flying squirrel as a pet. I would have been the most popular person in my school if I could have a flying squirrel. How much does a flying squirrel cost as a pet, Jonesy? Oh, I looked that up too. You can buy one in Texas here from exoticanimalsforsale.net. Here it's $600 for a southern flying squirrel baby. You get the baby. So, in case you guys want to be the most popular person in school or your neighborhood or your family or at work, think about getting yourself a flying squirrel. A Florida deputy gives children guns to fight demons that he said were in the home. Orange County, Florida. A now former Orange County deputy is accused of giving a child a gun and telling her to shoot anyone who enters the apartment. He also allegedly performed an exorcism on a second child. According to local media, Chris Doherty was arrested on Sunday after deputies were called to an apartment. Deputies said they found Doherty with a gun at the apartment and saw a young girl lying on the floor with a rifle. That just sounds like a nice, happy Florida family, to be honest. Just hanging out with some guns on the floor. What's wrong with that? Oh, you say there might have been an exorcism going on? Well, that's pretty typical, too, I'd say. Let's find out more. Here's a quote from the deputy in the arrest report. She was wearing a Kevlar helmet, that girl, and a bulletproof vest. She was ready to shoot anyone who entered that apartment. The child told investigators that when she woke up, Mr. Doherty told her there were demons in the house and they needed to burn things that were possessed. The girl said they then burned several items in the parking lot and they performed an exorcism on her brother. Mr. Doherty was taken to the hospital for a mental health evaluation under the Baker Act. Ooh, the Baker Act. I've never heard of that. What's that? When adults tell kids that demons are real and they need to be evaluated. This Doherty character apparently was a deputy with the Orange County Sheriff's Office since 2006, but had been fired for reasons unrelated to this incident involving the children and the demons. Poor Doherty. He's never going to get his sheriff's job back. Yeah. Not after this demon shooting incident and the exorcism. Maybe he could get a job working for the local parish, though. I mean, he seems to be able to see demons that aren't there, and he seems to know how to handle them for the most part. You got to do an exorcism, of course. Everybody knows that you go get yourself a bulletproof vest. That's to protect you from demons. Get yourself a rifle, yeah, because demons can be shot by bullets. Everybody knows that. A Florida woman repeatedly told the police that her name is "My butt just farted." The police in St. Petersburg got a call about a woman who refused to leave a gas station. Well, you know how people like to hang out at Florida gas stations. That's where all the hot shit is going down. That's where you get yourself some meth, a little handy in the parking lot. The good stuff. When the police got to this gas station, though, they were in for a treat. Right? They were there to arrest her for trespassing, this woman, because she refused to leave the gas station. So they asked for her name. She said, quote, "My name is My Butt Just Farted. My name is My Butt Just Farted. My name is My Butt Just Farted. What's your name? My butt just farted. No, tell us your name. My butt just farted." No matter how many times they asked for her name, she kept repeating her name is My Butt Just Farted. That's what it says here. Believe it or not, that's not her name. She's actually a 33-year-old woman named Melinda Lynn Guerrero. One of the ways the cops knew that her name was not My Butt Just Farted was because Guerrero was tattooed on her back. She's charged with trespassing and providing false name to law enforcement. The cops believe she may have been under the influence. Yeah, I'm sure she's under the influence. She's under the influence of gas, obviously. Maybe a little acid reflux. I mean, she probably had some of those little taquitos from the gas station. Those things will really make you fart, those things. It could have been a frozen burrito. Maybe she just, you get that frozen burrito in there, and sometimes the gas station will let you use the microwave if you buy the burrito right there. And she ate it, and then, her butt just farted after that. This is the kind of thing you can't make up. It's just such a strange choice. My butt just farted. Like If I was going to tell you that I farted, I wouldn't even use those words to tell you that I just farted. My butt just farted. Who says it like that? So even if she's trying to explain to the cops that she has gas, this is just a weird way to do it. My butt just farted. That's not what you say. No one says it like that. I mean, unless you're like a child. You're like, what did you just do? What did your butt just do? My butt just farted. Like a child would say that. An adult, a 33-year-old woman named Melinda wouldn't say this. And that's probably why we believe she's under the influence. Yay! You like podcasts? You're listening to my podcast. Maybe you thought to yourself, I'd like to make a podcast. Too difficult. No, not with Anchor. Anchor has free creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast from your phone or your computer. Anchor distributes your podcast to Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. They have advertising integration, so you can even make a little money off your podcast. Everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And good luck with your podcast. Good luck with your creation. Good luck with your life, man. A Florida man was arrested for throwing a pumpkin at his girlfriend. Oh, it's a Halloween story. Lago, Florida. A man was arrested on domestic battery charges after throwing a big old pumpkin at his girl. Nathan Garisto, age 26. That's the pumpkin chucker. He was ordered to have no contact with the victim following this incident in the early morning hours on a Monday. That's a very early time to be throwing a pumpkin at your lady. I assumed it was in the middle of the evening. They had way too much, I don't know what they were drinking, but you imagine, what are they drinking in Florida these days? What is it, moonshine? I don't even know. Old Mad Dog 2020. I'm on the night train. What are they drinking in Florida? Nathan Garisto. I assume they're drinking and they're carving a pumpkin and they have a disagreement about what the hell to carve into the pumpkin, you know? Nathan's like, I want to carve, the Florida Gator in there, because that's where I went to school. And then she's like, no. I want to carve a moon and some stars. Next thing you know, bam, pumpkin gets chucked at her face. According to the police, this Garisto guy, I guessed it correctly, heavily intoxicated. But it was in the morning. Heavily intoxicated while engaged in a verbal argument with his girlfriend. When she asked him to leave, he refused. He refused to leave the pumpkin carving. Following his refusal, Garisto threw the pumpkin at the victim, it says. Threw it right at the victim. When the police arrived on the scene, get this, the girlfriend was, quote, covered in pumpkin seeds and pulp. Yes, pulp. Pumpkin pulp. How many times can I say pulp? And, she's covered in pulp. I bet they wrote that in the report as well. Yes, the girlfriend was covered in pumpkin seeds and what do you call that stuff on the inside there, Officer Grady? I think it's called pulp. Oh, yeah, pulp. Pulp it is. I'm going to put down that she was covered in pulp. Put that right in the report. You're very accurate. I know. This guy, Garisto, pleaded not guilty to the misdemeanor charges, ordered to wear an alcohol monitor due to his past convictions for drunk driving and marijuana possession. Oh boy, this guy is a near-dweller. That's what's going on here. You can't keep him around pumpkins these days. Halloween's a rough time for this guy. You certainly can't let him be in charge of your trick-or-treat distribution. When it's time for those kids to roll up to your porch, you can't have a guy like this out there giving out the candy. Who knows what he might do, okay? Little argument with a kitty. Next thing you know, he's chucking pumpkins at the kids. And, I don't know what his stance is on pumpkin pie, but I'd probably keep him away from the pumpkin pie as well. I'd imagine he throws those around the room as well. This guy has a thing about throwing pumpkin-related items. I'd imagine it's Garisto. Florida man. Oh, no, that's some Florida, baby. Oh, I hope you enjoyed the dose of Florida to lead you into the weekend. I want to thank everybody who sent me Florida articles. They were tremendous. Tremendous this week. Loved it. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart. You can always send me articles to funnyjones@gmail.com, as you know. You can also send them to me on Instagram @funnyjones. You can tag me in a story on Twitter, and I'll get it as well, @funnyjones. You can do it like that, too. Or you could just call me and tell me about a funny story, a weird story, 646-450-2012. Yeah, that's a thing you could do. You can call the show and say hi. Just say hello. Hey, Jonesy. Hello from Canada or wherever you're from. I'd love it if someone would call me from, I don't know, Africa. That'd be cool. You got any listeners? Do you have any listeners in the Arctic? That would be tremendous. The number of the show. Did I give it to you already? I think I did. 646-450-2012. It's like a free number if you're in the States. Yeah, I don't have an international number for you guys. Or if there's a way to make that number international, I have no idea how to do it. But there are other ways to reach out to me. For instance, Facebook. Oh, facebook.com/comedian Jonesy or /WeirdAFnews as well. There you go. Or, you can go to weirdafnews.com and you can send me a note that way. What else did I want to say? Oh, yeah, I just appreciate all those articles for sure. I hope you're having a nice weekend, of course. Be careful, be safe. If you're experiencing tons of boredom and social isolation, you can always join my Patreon and unlock a bunch of Weird AF media. There's a lot of Weird AF related stuff that you can get to that's located inside the Patreon. It's inside the Patreon? Yes, that's right. It's right inside the Patreon. And the Patreon website is Patreon, patreon.com/WeirdAFnews. Pretty easy. Or you can get to the Patreon from my website as well, weirdafnews.com. So try that if you'd like to. And what else did I want to say? Oh, yeah, I just hope you guys are having a good time with friends and loved ones. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll see you on... What day will it be? Oh, Monday. Yeah, that's right.